Welcome to another episode of Epic Sketch Time. My name is Mark Monlux. I'm a freelance illustrator in Tacoma, Washington, and every Tuesday at 4:30, you can join me and others at Epic Sketch Time. So, gentlemen, introduce yourselves, your location, and what you're going to be working on today.
Hi, I'm Bill Morse. I'm a freelance illustrator in Seattle, Washington. I also do a webcomic called Rhapsodies. I'm currently working on going back and forth between working on a Sunday strip and putting the finishing touches on an illustration, which is this one, which I'll show sooner or later, but it's a cute little mermaid and having tea with an octopus.
And hey everybody, my name is Ian Castruita. You can check out my stuff at unfedartist.com, and all my social media handles are unfed art. I'm an illustrator, graphic designer, and cartoonist working out of Arizona. Today I am working on my comic, also named Unfed Artist. What about you, Mark?
Oh, let's see. I had been working on storyboard illustrations for, this is my next, I'll do a larger version. When I do a storyboard, I put it together like this with arrows and things moving around. And I'm trying to get caught up because I was busy. I don't think we did Epic Sketch Time last week because I had a family emergency. My wife had a gallbladder attack, and I had to take her to the hospital. And she was in there for about 5 days while she was getting it removed and such. Of course, she got her gallbladder removed on the 4th of July.
Oh man, is she okay though?
Oh yeah, she's fine now.
Okay.
She'd been having these attacks on and off and had been nagging her physician for years to get an MRI so that they could, schedule her for a procedure. And he's just been putting her off and putting her off. And anyway, this attack was so severe that after a couple of hours of throwing up and a terrible backache, she had me take her into the hospital. So first we went to the Tacoma hospital. We were there for 4 hours while they got her pain and nausea under control, got an x-ray, got an ultrasound, but no MRI. So they were trying to get us a room because everything was pointing to the fact that she had to have something done.
Yeah.
And couldn't get a room in Tacoma. So I ended up driving her to Seattle. By then she was stable enough that she could just get in the car with me and we didn't have to do an ambulance. Get up to Seattle, hoped to get an MRI that day, but it was too late. Got an MRI the next day, hoped to have an operation that day, but it was too late. The ORs were just packed solid.
Yeah.
So the next day was the 4th. She goes under, and then maybe there's still a gallstone in her system, or maybe there was a bad response to the medication, but she was held over another day. And it was looking like she was going to be held over yet one more day when the doctors finally compared notes with each other and decided, oh, okay, you can go home. Everything's beginning to look good now. She didn't eat anything really during that time, just a couple sips of broth and stuff.
Wow.
And her appetite is slowly coming back. So, and every day she's walking a little bit farther, so that's good. But yeah, I had just brought her back home last Monday, and so I was just so far behind on work that I didn't want to bother with the Epic. Plus, I was still in support mode, cooking, dishing, chores, that type of thing. But hey, it could have been, this is what you have insurance for. So, and she works for the state, so she has really good insurance.
Well, I'm glad everything's okay. Are you guys worried about COVID-19 at all, or is that?
Well, she did get a COVID test when she was at the hospital,
Yeah.
and I was a little concerned because until the day before I took her to the hospital, they were still not allowing people, even as visitors, into the hospital. If you were a patient, you were on your own.
Yeah.
But the day I brought her in was the day they started allowing one visitor in. So I could, but you had to get screened. So typical thing, sanitizer at the door, answer a whole bunch of questions, get your temperature taken. And if you passed through that minor gauntlet, they gave you a name tag for the day, and then you could have in and out privileges and wouldn't have to go through the screening again. I mean, you'd have to get your hands sanitized coming in or going out, but it was pretty easy going. There were a few restrictions, like I couldn't bring any food or water into the building. I think part of that might have been, a lot of people like to bring food for caregivers and share, because Lord knows that you're not supposed to give any food other than what's on the menu to the patients, because they wanted to monitor all that.
Yeah.
But so
I think my sister got her gallbladder removed, and it's the thing that I'm not a doctor, obviously, but if anyone was confused on that point, I think it excretes bile into your system, and it helps you digest fats. Is that right? So
that's right.
Yeah.
So she's not going to be able to eat really fatty food anymore, right? Because it's going to cause her a lot of problems.
Well, you can eat fatty food, but you can't eat a lot of it.
Okay.
At one sitting. Otherwise, it's going to what it'll do is it'll make you jaundice. And
wow. Okay.
So if you have too much bile in your system, your skin will turn yellow and your eyes will turn yellow. And it's basically a sign that your liver's not functioning.
Yeah, it's funny. I got tested for jaundice several times because I have this technically harmless genetic disorder, which something to do with the liver, that among other things gives me naturally yellowish eyes, and so I've had several doctors assume the worst over it.
Huh. It's not harmful though? I mean,
not in my generation, though they keep an eye out for it.
Wow.
Speaking of eye color, King Kong. Here's a nice little trivia.
Mm-hmm.
In the movie King Kong, he's anatomically incorrect. You might have guessed at that with him being only an 18-inch doll, but he's got whites in his eyes rather than real gorillas have blacks around their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so if you didn't know that, gorillas have black eyes. But it gave him a far more human expression. Can you imagine a King Kong with black eyes and being empathetic towards such a creature?
No, I mean, I generally find gorillas being very empathetic, but yes, I can see.
So my question now is, have you noticed how many gorilla movies over the years where the gorillas have white eyes?
Ooh.
I mean,
Do we get
I'm kind of wondering. I mean, we have the Rampage with The Rock, right? That's a does that gorilla have white eyes or does that gorilla have black eyes?
Well, admittedly, that gorilla is an albino, so I don't think it counts.
Okay. How about
Well, let me
The
see if I can
19
list out gorilla movies, first
Yeah,
of all.
the
That's,
1977 King Kong? Did that gorilla, which was, highly anatomically correct, did that have black
That
eyes or what?
Suits. It was. If you want to go with anatomically correct King Kongs, go with the Peter Jackson one.
does that one have white eyes?
I have no idea. We're going to have to go back and do some heavy research here.
Oh, good.
We tackle the tough questions here on Epics Touchdown. Society collapses around us, and we're like, which gorilla movies? What eyes? The movies that popped in my head were Congo.
Oh, yeah. Again, albino gorilla. So Bill might have a point there.
And
then what is it, Mighty Joe Young or something? I didn't see it.
Yeah, Mighty Joe Young was done in a response to King Kong.
oh, I thought that was Willis O'Brien's as well. And the Kong from Peter Jackson's does appear to have black eyes.
Well, we're supposed to keep the audience in suspense, Bill. Come on.
Oh, with the shadowing, it was hard to tell it for a second.
Speaking of animals and movies, I am going to share with you guys a website here. Let's see. Cinema Cats.
Cinema Cats?
Cinema Cats. Apparently, a group of fans have come together, and any movie that had a cat in it, they have cataloged it with screenshots.
And
Now,
we're just
their movie index is pretty good. They have not only movies but anime, documentaries,
Jeez.
and but the one category that they're still working on and haven't finished with is cat actors.
yeah, it looks like there's exclusively Felis domesticus here, though.
Bill's already going through.
So this is actually interesting trivia. What was the cat for MGM?
Oh, the lion?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, or are we talking?
Is that a famous cat, or was that just some random zoo that they went to one day?
No, that was actually a lion that they owned, and I'm blanking on the name as well.
The studio owned the lion?
Well, the studio contracted the lion, at least.
Yeah.
That'd
be kind of cool trivia to know, like, oh yeah, that was Lucky the Lion or something like that.
I have
It was Leo the lion.
Bill.
Oh, of course.
Here is an interesting factoid about that growl that the lion does. That sort of like snarl growl he does.
Yeah.
Sure.
Bill the lion was so friendly and mellow, they could not coerce him to roar. So the trainer says, hang on a moment, went to the supply closet, got a bottle of ammonia, and squirted it up his ass.
Jesus Christ.
And this is getting while character is Leo the lion, the original Leo the lion from 1928 to 1956 was named Jackie. From 32 and 35, then after that was the next lion, who actually they were in the same time. Then there was Telly and Coffee. From 34 to 56 was also Tanner. Then 56 to 58 was George. And the current, that can't be right. That's way past the lion's life expectancy, but apparently the current one is Leo.
Maybe they're just reusing the footage because, how much ammonia can be in one closet.
Yeah, and isn't there like against like animal cruelty. Like I don't think a Mona up the ass is gonna fly with the organization. You know.
Okay,
God.
it may not
I mean,
harm
we're
the
way
animal.
past the peanut butter and Wilbur's teeth. I mean, this is the next level.
And sorry, a case of pedantry, Mr. Ed's
Oh yeah. Sorry.
though I'd heard something about some really cruel wire rig.
No. Oh, I don't want to know.
Is that the one they used for Francis?
I don't know. I hope.
A
I don't.
wire?
Yeah, that sounds awful.
I'm just going to go and believe it's all peanut butter and ammonia at this stage.
Yeah, even the ammonia is a little. No, this will work, guys. Trust me on this one.
You may want to stand back.
Hey, who's the professional here, right? Oh man.
Well, we sort of like we need to get our geek cred as high as possible. I mean, before one of the reasons I think Mark's going so big on the trivia right now is that he tried to get me with a trick question before we turned on.
Oh really? What was that?
Well, when I'm late to Epic, if I can be forgetful at times. Bill will send me a text that says Bueller ? And so I came back to him and I asked him, what was the name of the teacher in the movie who was calling out Bueller?
Oh, what a
Now the actor,
great trivia. Yeah.
he was able to name the actor right off the bat, which was
Ben Stiller. No, sorry.
Not Ben Stiller.
No, not Ben Stiller. Ben Stein.
So we had to look it up because I couldn't remember either, and it turned out that the teacher didn't have a name. He was just credited as economics teacher.
Huh.
So that was it.
Yeah, what a great scene too. Have you guys caught this thing on YouTube? I can't remember the guys. I think it's Josh Gad is the actor, but he like reunites all these for like Zoom calls. I just saw Ghostbusters, and I guess he's about to do Ferris Bueller. But he had like the Back to the Future cast not long ago.
Oh, I haven't seen that. That sounds great. That sounds like a great.
Yeah, I'll have to
channel
look that up. I'll away from my sketches really quick.
Oh, I did see. Did he put the one together for the? I saw a reunion on Zoom of the people from the the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
It could be. I don't know. I only caught 3. It's actually called Reunited Apart with Josh Gad, and I guess he already has done a season. Whoa, calm down. Let's see. So he's done Lord of the Rings. I need a Back to the Future. Oh well, I mean I can let you guys check it out. It was kind of cool to see Ghostbusters though, because that was the first movie I actually remember watching in the theater, and I was obsessed with the movie. You know that was one of those things my brother dragged me to like multiple times. But
yeah, that movie holds up really well.
Yeah, and fantastic stuff. So just to see the cast and crew together, and he also got like some of the lesser known, or like the smaller roles, I should say, like the hotel concierge from Ghostbusters. Like he was invited into the Zoom call, and the 2 students from the very first scene with Venkman and the little zap test, they're in there, and they had Ray Parker Jr. at the end. I was like, oh, I mean, it's a lot of fun.
Because the fun thing with Ghostbusters at the time was that was really getting me excited about it was I used to usher at the Trinity Repertory Theater in Providence, Rhode Island, to see shows for free, and the actor who played Winston was one of the regulars there.
Oh, no kidding! How awesome! Now, I don't know this for sure, but I have this trivia in my head that that role was originally offered to Eddie Murphy, and he said it was one of the things he regretted turning down more than anything else.
That sounds vaguely familiar, though. I don't think I've actually heard that rumor.
Yeah, it might
Wait
be
a minute,
something.
Bill. It's vaguely familiar, but you haven't heard it?
I haven't heard
You got to be on one side of the fence or the other, Bill.
There's a lot of stories about actors who almost got apart. I mean,
No, but you either heard something or you didn't hear something. You can't say, I don't know if I heard that or not, or yeah, I have heard about that. No, pick a side, Bill.
I take my
Under the hot seat in Epic Sketch Time. So I just found a link. I will share it. It's from comicbook.com. So you guys can read that. I'll probably read it later, but it's going to be in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm pretty excited about the new movie coming out. I know a lot of people didn't like the last one, but I did. I thought it was really well done.
I enjoyed the last one. I don't think I loved it, though. Katie McKennick, what's her name? The Holtzman. She stole the show completely.
Oh yeah, it was a
So,
lot of fun to
Bill,
watch.
did you or did you not see the movie? I just want to know which side of the fence you are on this.
I just said I did. Why would I know who the heck Holtzman?
Because before you said you did something, but you hadn't done something. I just need a little bit more clarification now.
You know what sucks though is this whole year has just been terrible for movie going, right? I mean, it's all been streaming and just like pay-per-view or direct to Netflix or something.
Now, what I have done is I have watched a movie on YouTube or on Netflix and been on the phone with a friend and just conversed with them while watching a movie.
I heard there's actually like a Zoom app or something like that you watch Netflix together.
Yeah, there's a Netflix app. There's a Netflix party app where everyone, if you sign on to Netflix, it's like a little chat window over on the side.
Okay.
And so you can chat there while the movie's going on. That way you're not disrupting the dialogue.
But is that what you did?
No, we didn't do that. We were watching something on YouTube because it was a really awful movie.
Oh.
Those movies that's almost intended to be talked over.
Yeah, we were definitely riff tracking this movie. It was something so boring that the guys from Mystery Science Theater 3000 gave it a pass. I think it was some old noir film that wasn't that bad, but it was pretty damn cheesy. But it was only like an hour, so it didn't really kill us,
So what was the last movie each of you remember seeing in a theater for? For me, it was Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, wow.
I think I have you beat by the quality of film.
Oh, come on.
I went and saw Cats.
Oh,
Well,
I gotta leave.
I technically have you guys beaten, but considering the level of sarcasm, probably not. The last film I saw in the theater was Parasite.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is very, yeah.
Wow, Cats, really?
It
Was
was-
that a dare or something? Like what?
No, there's a local independent movie house here. Thought it would be great to have a bunch of people who didn't get a chance to see it in the theaters, who wanted to see how bad it was.
Yeah.
So
Because it's notorious right now, right? I mean, people
the theater sold out. It
Wow.
oh my God, it was one of the funnest viewings of a movie I ever had. It was like being there when Rocky Horror first started.
okay.
There was
That does sound cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of riffing. As a matter of fact, they had so much fun that they thought that they might bring it back next year. And I'm wondering if when they do bring it back next year, if they're going to be able to get the butthole version.
Yeah, I mean, the way you're describing it is sounding like Cats is becoming the new Showgirls.
Oh, really?
Oh, Showgirls is such ancient news now. No,
So for me, the last movie like that I watched was is it the it's not The Apartment. That's a classic. Is it The Room or something like that?
The Room.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, where people like throw plastic spoons at the screen and stuff. Like I went to that not knowing anything. I was just like, oh yeah, you gotta go watch this movie. And then luckily there was one person who knew like everything to say at the right moment, and it was one of the best experiences I ever had. Was just like, oh my god, this is hilarious.
Now, have you seen the movie that's based on the movie? It's called The Disaster Artist.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that. I think it's on Netflix actually.
I haven't seen that one either, but I'm curious about it. But let's see, what was the last movie I watched? Let's see, lately. Let's see. I write down my when I watch a movie, I keep my notes for when I do movie reviews.
Sure.
Let's see. And the most recent movie I saw was Monstrosity, aka The Atomic Brain. Oh, whew. Talk about a painfully. This one was actually covered by the guys from Mystery Science Theater 3000, and they said it was the most boring of their episodes and of all the movies that they've done. It was. But hey, it's got a cat. An interesting fact, the cat actually belonged to one of the actresses. So, last movie for both of them, apparently.
Like they weren't cast in again after that, or?
Well, actually, I think they both left the movie industry.
Was that bad, huh? Jeez.
No. She wanted to raise kids. That particular actress had actually done a number of noir and other films. This just happened to be the last bit of work she did.
So that's your process for making the comic critic, is like you write notes and you find interesting trivia and stuff and just kind of put it all together?
Sometimes I'll go for the trivia and I'll hunt down the trivia if there's not a lot to go on with the movie. What I'll do is, let's see if I can get my camera up here. My notes are basically just little loose sketches like this. So if there's a particular scene or an expression, I'll just do a quick draw.
Mm-hmm.
Like my page for Rogue's Tavern is just a bunch of little nonsense doodles. Like I like this guy's hat and glasses and his tie. Now, I don't know if I actually... I haven't done a review for Rogue's Tavern yet. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Pandora and the Flying Dutchman. I really liked the detail on the car, so I drew the car real quick, and that made it into a panel. But sometimes my little doodles don't make it in. And while I'm writing up, the first thing I do is I write a chapter draft without looking up or doing any type of research. And then I'll go back and I'll do some browsing online and look through my books and see if I can find what other people have written about the movie. And if there's a really nice little factoid, I'll try to squeeze it in. This last year, I've been very bad and written far too much in my paragraphs. And going back, I had to go into like a dozen of my articles and trim them down so that the comments would actually fit onto my page layout, because I got the graphic over here and then I have the commentary over here, and I want the commentary to be the same size on every page as it's been in my last two books. So I got a certain word limit.
Yeah.
I'm going to share a screen really quickly while I do a promotion. Oh, I should probably make it so that Okay, can you see this?
Yes.
Okay. Now I didn't draw this. A gal named Anique Zimmer drew this. Next Wednesday.
Oh wait, we're looking at your email.
Oh, well, that's not good.
Yeah, you might want to block that out before you release the video too. So. Or share it with the world. You know, either.
All a client is doing is telling me to change the word business with businesses and to put periods at the end of the text bubble. So it's just a little proofing.
Well, you still have their email address on there. That's probably not good.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Everybody, you should go ahead and send this gal an email and let her know that you found it here. Let's see. Considering that we have such a wide viewing audience, I'm not terribly concerned.
Well, you never know. We might become the next hottest thing tomorrow. So.
Let's see if I can do this screen share right this time. Okay, how about now?
I see an anatomy thing.
Right, okay, so next Wednesday, not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday, the CLA Artist Guild here in Tacoma is having an online drawing session at 7:30, where each month we create a little mini comic, and you can draw various pages. So this last month, no one gave me any of their submissions, so all I have is the work I did, and a cover in the front is hardly a mini comic. So the theme for this drawing session is going to be anatomy.
Fun.
I decided, we've been doing nothing but COVID-related comics. I think people are just kind of burned out on that theme.
Yeah.
Was this done in Procreate?
I would not be surprised if it was. I know that she's been doing things in Procreate. I'll have to ask her next time I see her.
Yeah. It looks really nice. I like
what leads me to think so is this little bit right here where the arm is extending out over the border.
Yeah.
She obviously did the white last, oh, well, take a look at that. Yeah, the black is going over and the white's going over. So I am definitely going to check out your link later on.
So Bill, what's the story with your new video setup? Do you have like a green screen or?
It's pretty much Zoom updated the system. It's pretty much update to the latest version, and it'll work now.
That looks pretty clean. Usually, if you don't have a green screen, you can kind of tell when people move around that there's kind of like some fuzziness and stuff. But so far, it looks pretty good.
Mark says he can see the fluffiness, but considering this is fluffy anyway, it's
yeah. When you do that totally killed it.
It's when he's taking up the full screen.
Yeah.
Then you can see a little bit of it, but when he's just like in a little Brady Bunch window.
That's not too bad.
No, it looks pretty good.
Yeah. And why are you up in a tree in this scenario, or do you just kind of change it up in every chance?
I'm still choosing. The reason I picked this one was there's this family of barred owls in the nearby park that I've been photographing, going and shooting every time I get the chance.
So if the barn owls had actually been up over here in your corner rather than directly behind you, they would be a little bit more visible. Instead, they're just occasionally, we get one almost on your shoulder. There we go.
I think it's a good opportunity for like comedic stuff. You're like, wait a minute. What?
If you had a dog going like this,
Yeah.
in the
I've seen some
background.
great Zoom background stuff. Like somebody recorded themselves, like setting down like a cup of coffee or something, and then that's their background. So when they sit down, you see them coming behind and leaving a cup of coffee, and then they're like, "Oh, thanks."
I'm thinking of setting up something deliberately commercial. I finally got the Office copy of Affinity, and while my learning curve has a way to go, I've been making some very good use of it for the very basics.
What's this program called again?
Affinity, it's the poor man's Illustrator, and definitely works perfectly well for anybody who's doing beyond the basics that they want to do with Illustrator. I mean, you can't do this kind of the really advanced class stuff that Stowe does with it because it doesn't have anything like the blob tool, but otherwise it definitely gets the job done.
But if you have, if you have say an iPad, this is like a $25 program for the iPad. So it's a really nice little thing.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Stowe likes to use what's called the blob tool in Illustrator. I can show you what that looks like. Let me go to my Illustrator. Let's see. Oh, I quit Illustrator because I'm in Photoshop. I won't show it to you. You're not an Illustrator, are you?
No, none of us are.
You're using Clip Studio, right?
I love Illustrator, and I could bore you guys to death with all the stuff I do with it. But no, I used to be, my comics would be rendered in Photoshop, lettered in Illustrator, and then final final PDF or whatever in InDesign, unless I was doing like a JPEG or something, and then I could just push that out from Illustrator.
I know what you mean. I used to letter in Illustrator until Photoshop's text tools got that good enough to keep up.
Yeah, I mean, once Manga Studio, which is now Clip Studio, came about, I was just like, okay, well, that's what I'm using. But yeah, for all my my corporate client work, like it's just a lot of iconography and like social media announcements and stuff. They don't really like illustration style as much as they used to, and so it's a lot of clean, kind of just simple graphics and stuff. But I paid for a plugin from Astute Graphics, which it's not really a plugin, it's like a suite of plugins, and it just kind of opens up Illustrator into this like fun house of different things you could play around with and do, and you get a lot of cool things happening in there.
I love
you
working.
You were primarily Illustrator.
I
right?
was working mainly in Illustrator. I still do a lot of work in Illustrator, but these days I'm spending equal times in Illustrator, Photoshop, and Procreate.
Yeah.
Lately in Procreate, I'm doing a lot of coloring. Right now, I'm in the midst of. Let's see if you guys can guess. This movie monster I'm about to pull up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still going back and forth between Clip Studio and Procreate, but I'm getting much, much better with Procreate.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are the only two people who've seen the latest of how far I've taken it so far with that mermaid one.
Yeah, Procreate, I mean, it's iPad only, right? Like it's not on any Android tablet or anything.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's kept me from trying it out. Otherwise, I've been trying to
Well,
find
what's
reasons.
nice is that it will import and export out its layers to and from Photoshop.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you could do that with Clip Studio and stuff too, but I mean, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but the appeal of it is that portability, right? Like you guys are
Yeah,
just,
it
you're
being in
hanging
the
out, you're
hand.
doing whatever, you're drawing, you're not
Yeah,
stuck to your desktop.
Yeah, because I mean, for the absolute finished stuff, I'll frequently finish my coloring in Clip Studio because of some of the final. Ooh, I do not know that. I don't think I know that one.
Almost looks like it's from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
this is from a movie called Monster in the Closet.
Jeez.
And so what I'll do is I'll take a piece of artwork, like right now I'm about to go into Photoshop and clean up the edges because I like really, the nice thing about Photoshop is you can go right up and see these edges right here, those little dings and bats.
Mm-hmm.
You can just clean those up and you get this nice, perfectly jagged black and white selection, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm going to have to do a lot of cleaning up on here to take care of that.
That's
But
always been the bane of working digitally, is just those, like, oh man, what's the word? Oh, I can't believe I forgot this word. Keep on talking. I'll figure it out.
so I'll probably spend like half an hour cleaning this up before I decide to import it into Procreate to do all the coloring behind the black. But if I was to create this image inside Procreate, it would have that blurred edge along the black strokes. I have yet to find in Procreate how I can make the edges perfectly this nice, harsh, crisp black and white edge, you know,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
you get
the
from
word is
bitmap.
anti-aliasing, and
Yeah.
yeah, I freaking hate it. I mean, sometimes it's great depending on what you're doing with it, obviously, but yeah, one of the reasons I like Clip Studio is because you can actually draw in vector, which gives you like so many opportunities to just not only have clean lines but to adjust the lines, you know, with group like you would any other kind of vector object.
And the best part about it is it makes it a lot easier to correct your mistakes. I use it a lot for my background architecture.
So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some techniques I do inside Photoshop to clean things up like this. So I got all this noise, all these white specks inside these black lines, right? And I know that that's consistent all over on this scan. This is a really messy scan. And I could spend a lot of time just going in and selecting all those things one by one and then clipping them out. But what I do instead is I'll go up to the image, go over and convert it over to grayscale. Then I'll select the selection tool, go up to select, then pull down to similar. Now everything that's black will be selected, including this noise on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay for now. What I'm now going to do is go in and modify and expand out my selection by 1 pixel. I'm going to then go ahead and select the fill at 100% opacity. And not only oh yes, it's gone ahead and made the noise in the background larger, but it's also gone in and filled up all those little tiny black things, or all those little white gaps all over the place. So what I'll do now is I'll go in and select the white, go up to select similar, make sure that all the white is selected, then go back up in here again and modify, expand by 1. And this time I'm going to just fill this area with white. Now to clean up, okay, now I'm going to go ahead and deselect. I still got the noise that I had before in the little white sections, but all the areas of a mess that I had in the black are pretty much gone. So I'm going to go ahead and select the white one more time. Select, let's see, similar, where's similar?
Go over to the
There
left.
we go.
There we go.
I'm just going to repeat that process of modifying and expanding out 1 more inch. And then now what I'm going to do is, and it's important that you deselect, because if you keep it selected and try to go back and just reverse selection, it will keep the memory of where all that noise was and bring it back. So you have to deselect, then go back in and select similar. Select, modify, expand by 1, edit, fill. Okay, so I've done that I went through that cycle twice. And now I can go into anywhere on my image, and if I do see some noise, I'll have 1 or 2 specks like here, but it won't be in every stroke. I can see that there's some noise down here. There's a little bit there. So what I'll do now is I'll go and do my cleanup phase. And this is a trick that I've mentioned before on the show that a photographer taught me, and he calls it the speck cleanup, where you enlarge your image to at least 100%. And then you just do a grid by grid cleanup like this, working across. And then when you're done with 1 row, you just move down and do the next. I tend to work at 200 so I can get in a little closer. But I think I'll just go through at 100 this first time. And that's how I clean up my scans. And I developed that because I used to have this really crappy scanner. I still have this scanner. It's not a flatbed scanner, it's a roll scanner.
Mhm.
And I'd go on assignment to locations, and I'd take the scanner with me. And at first, well, I hadn't discovered non-photo, I wasn't using non-photo blue pencils at the time, so I would have to erase out all my number 2 pencilings after I did the inkings, and then run my scans through. But I eventually I'd get these little particles in the scanner from my eraser dust.
Yeah.
And they'd be stuck in this roller scanner. And I needed to figure out a way just to clean those up fast on the fly. And just, if you can set up your files ahead of time, you can, everything I did, you can put that into an action command, have it cycle through. Well, actually, no, I couldn't do that because you had to select the black. So you do have to do it manually.
But you could set it up for an action after you make your selection, and then you just
yes,
make your
I had those buttons ready.
Yeah.
So that would usually make quick work of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so am I done screen sharing? Are we back to everybody?
Do you have an action for that, Mark, or is it something you need to eyeball one by one?
Oh, you can do an action for sequences of it, but the selection of those black and the selection of the white, you have to do that one by one.
Okay.
But once you've selected the first black, you can then the thing of, select similar and then expand by one.
Mhm.
Those commands you can make into a quick little button so you don't have to do it. Gentlemen, believe it or not, it is almost 5:30.
All right.
We have come to yet another end of epic sketch time. I want to thank Bill and Ian for joining me. I think this will go down in the annals as one of our more interesting non-art related topics.
Cats and movies.
Right up there with the correct pronunciation of Thanos.
Oh, that's one of our classics now? That's awesome. Well, it's
Anyway.
a pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you.
Mhm.
I'll see you. Let's see. We've got, there is a Graphic Artists Guild webinar tomorrow. Do you remember what the name of that one was, Bill? It was something about good and bad logos of 2020.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think logo trends or something.
Yeah, so if you haven't signed up, sign up for it.
and Stowe is going to be talking about color this Saturday at the Cartoonist Northwest meeting.
Yes.
So, and then we have, of course, Freelance Fandango on Monday. And I'm not sure if there's another guild meeting. I highly suggest you check out Eventbrite to see what the Graphic Artists Guild has to offer.
Mhm.
Gentlemen, thank you so much, and I'll see you next week.
Okay.
Take care.